Perhaps our emotional intelligence is the most important factor in helping us lead fulfilled lives. It is a better predictor of academic success, job performance, and overall life quality than our IQ. And fortunately, compared to our IQ, we can increase our emotional intelligence throughout life. If you want to learn how to become smarter, and if you strive to live up to your full potential, watch this summary of Daniel Goleman's book until the end. Emotions are everywhere. They are not only crucial in any interaction with others, they also form our decisions and help us understand the world. In fact, our emotions are vital to us because they provide us with advantages that help us to lead fulfilled lives. One of these advantages is the way emotions help us to learn from our memories, because when our brain stores experiences we've made in our lives, it doesn't just collect facts, but also our feelings. These feelings help us to learn from our experiences. Example, if a little child touches a hot plate, he or she will experience intense pain. In the future, the thought of touching a hot plate again will carry with it the memory of that searing pain. That's how his or her emotions will hopefully avoid making the same mistake again. Another advantage emotions provide us with is the way they help us to interpret others and especially the feelings of others. This can also help us in predicting their actions. Example, imagine we're faced with an angry man. From his body language, like a loud voice for instance, we can tell his emotional state. And knowing this, we can predict some of his future actions. He might be ready to scream at somebody or even hit someone. This leads us to the final advantage our emotions give us, the drive to act. In order to react quickly to a situation, we require our emotions. Let's take the angry man from the last example. If we feel that he might be close to a violent outburst, our emotions will make us feel threatened or even angry and prepare us to react quickly if he looked like he was about to attack. This is why our emotions are important tools for understanding and interacting with our environment. But they can also lead us to make mistakes when we become overly emotional. Because in order to make sound judgments, we need to think clearly. But every time we are in a state of heightened emotion, our minds are bombarded with alarming thoughts and there is no more room for rational thought. Thus, our judgment is clouded. Example, when we are frightened, we may find ourselves overreacting to situations, thinking they're more dangerous than they actually are. We also often make the mistake to act suddenly before we have the chance to judge a situation clearly. And on top of that, our emotions can lead us to act irrationally when we are affected by obsolete emotional responses. Sometimes, situations in the present are based on past experiences, even when the conditions have changed. Example, a boy who is physically bullied at school may grow up to be a strong man, but he may still feel threatened by his former bully. So we have to be aware that emotions can take control of our minds and disrupt our rational thinking. That's why we need to manage them effectively with the help of emotional intelligence. Therefore, we have to learn how we can use the power of our emotions without letting them overwhelm us. The first aspect of emotional intelligence is being able to manage emotions. As studies have shown, people who are not able to recognize their own feelings are more prone to violent outbursts. And once we are able to recognize our emotions, we need to become aware of what causes them. Often our feelings in certain situations depend on how we think about them. Example, when someone personally criticizes us, we might immediately think that they don't like us. This may make us upset or even angry, but if we stop thinking that the person doesn't like us, we might be able to find other reasons for his or her criticism that leave us less upset or angry. And maybe, if we think about the reason for someone to criticize us, we create space in our brain for thinking of ways in which we can work on ourselves to avoid this criticism in the future. When we start to recognize and manage our feelings, emotional intelligence can also help us concentrate on achieving certain goals. For example, let's imagine we need to write an important paper for university or work. We don't really like the subject matter and we would much rather watch that new movie in the theater. With the help of emotional intelligence, we can manage these various feelings. Firstly, although the subject matter bores us, we could try to look at it from another angle. Maybe there's one aspect of the subject that enthuses us. And secondly, knowing how going to the cinema and watching the movie will make us feel, we can defer the gratification and save our potential enjoyment until we have time for it. Studies show that students who manage their workloads this way tend to do well even if they have average IQs. Emotional control, delaying gratification, and stifling impulsiveness underlies accomplishment of every sort. Emotional intelligence is also the capacity that helps us navigate the social world. Unless we live lonely on an island, it's unlikely that we will develop a happy life just by managing our own mind. Other people play a large role in our existence, and only by managing our social interactions with them, we can hope to live a fulfilled life. With the help of emotional intelligence, we can put ourselves in other people's perspectives, and thereby we can foster good social interactions. Also, emotional intelligence helps us to discover the emotions of others by analyzing their nonverbal signs. This means we can judge a person's mood just by looking at cues like their body language or their facial expressions. This allows us to empathize with others and enables us to behave in ways which evoke favorable reactions from others. Example, imagine being the manager of a company in which one member of staff is constantly making the same mistake again and again. It's important to tell him about this and get him to change, but we have to do it in the right way, because if we hurt his feelings, he may become defensive or even angry, and therefore less likely to make the changes. So we need to empathize with him and imagine how he will feel. Thereby, we can act in a way which makes him more willing to change. People with emotional intelligence can develop social aptitudes, such as the ability to teach others, resolve conflicts, or manage teams of staff. And on top of that, these aptitudes help us to maintain great relationships. It is also important to understand that, in a very real sense, we have two minds, one that thinks and one that feels. And emotional intelligence requires a balance between our emotional feeling brain and the rational thinking brain, because the ways we think and feel are intertwined. The reason for that is the link between our thinking brain, where we develop our rational thoughts, and the feeling brain, where our emotions are born. The thinking brain helps us to regulate our feelings, while the feeling brain combines our thinking with emotional self-awareness. Example, if we learn to mitigate stressful feelings like anxiety and anger, we can reduce the harmful effects these feelings have on our health. Stress can weaken our immune system, and when we go through stressful periods, our hearts are put under immense strain because our blood pressure is raised. This leads us to the risk of having a cardiac arrest. In a clinical study, people who had already suffered one were coached to manage their anger, which significantly lowered the risk of further attacks. A high emotional intelligence not only makes people happy and healthy, a poor one can have society-wide negative effects. Perhaps it's not surprising that a child's own emotional intelligence is also related to his or her welfare. Children with deficits in self-awareness, empathy, or impulse control are at a risk of developing mental health problems and tend to have more problems at school. And, contrary to our IQ, there's a series of exercises with which we can boost our EQ. If we want to enhance our self-awareness and self-management, we can practice using inner dialogues. This will assist us in identifying and naming our feelings. Questions like, "Why am I hurt?" or "Why do I feel this way?" will help us in this process. If we want to improve our empathy, we can try to mirror another person's body language, which is helpful because body language doesn't solely express emotions, it also evokes them. And if we want to think more positively and enhance our ability to self-motivate, we have to keep in mind that people who can convince themselves that failures are due to something that they can change don't give up so easily. They continue to try because they believe that a successful outcome depends on their own actions. On the opposite, those who attribute a setback to some permanent personal deficit are likely to give up soon because they are convinced that there is not much they can do about their success anyway. So if you want to be successful, try to avoid thinking that way. Now, the question is, how can we use this knowledge practically in all kinds of settings, from office to our love life? Firstly, we can avoid misunderstandings in relationships if we take into account the different ways that men and women deal with emotions. Because typically, girls are raised to talk about their feelings and connect through intimate talk, while boys learn to minimize feelings that might make them look vulnerable. Example: if a female partner complains about a problem, the male reactions might often be to instantly offer advice, but this could be very wrong. Often, when a woman complains about a problem, she is seeking validation and wants her partner to listen and show that he understands. An immediate solution instead might be misinterpreted as a rejection of her anguish rather than an attempt to help, so it would be better to listen to her carefully. Secondly, if we are very upset during a dispute, from now on let's try to take a break to calm down. Strong emotions tend to distort our thinking, so we will likely say or do something we might regret. A cool down period may help, fortunately. And thirdly, let's be specific and offer a solution if we have to criticize someone. We can keep the recipient from feeling devalued and confused simply by picking an incident and pointing out exactly what should have been done differently and what was done well. And always remember, we need emotional intelligence because it is a set of skills that enables us to recognize and manage our emotions, which serve as indispensable sources of orientation and push us to take actions. What do you think about Daniel Goleman's book? Do you think the knowledge from emotional intelligence enables you to recognize and manage your emotions better? Comment below and be sure to subscribe.